All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series Season 6 finale here at Las Vegas. Scheduled distance going to be 100 laps. Drivers putting down their qualifying laps right now. So you see the points up on the board. Say Larry Yingling, he's got this thing locked up here tonight. So he's just going to be going for a little bit more glory in that number 67 machine, as you can see. So far 11 races in, he's had a top 5 in every race, and he's won over half of the races so far this season. So I'll say dominance kind of selling it short almost a little bit for that 67 machine. And then I'll say we do have a really good battle though for that second position in the points. Maxwell's got a 12-point advantage over Chad Wilkes, and then 2 more back to that 21 of Brandon Pasolaco. So it'll be a really tight race there between 2nd and 4th in the points. David Payton holding on pretty solidly into that 5th spot. Then 6th through 10th, you've got Andrew Pleshy, Jim Brooks, Jack Walls, Todd Merkel, and James Ledford. So they say drivers putting down their laps right now. I don't think qualifying is going to be too critical, Dale, for what we were going to see tonight. Let's say at Las Vegas, this is a track that the group really does kind of open up a little bit, especially 1 and 2. That bottom is really bumpy, so you kind of see drivers move towards the middle there. Bottom line is really usually where they want to be in 3 and 4, but this track does eat the tires a little bit, so I think we're going to see these drivers moving around a little bit as this run progresses.
Yeah, this is the rare occasion that we're actually at a track on iRacing where the driver can really run where they feel comfortable. You're not going to see anybody extremely up on the wall like you would at Kansas, but you can move around. You have that freedom to move around, bottom, middle line through the corner, which you don't have at a lot of tracks on the service.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. So I got a couple new, not new faces, but maybe some drivers that haven't run too much this season. So glad to see Ryan Kelly in the 13. He's back in the mix as well here tonight. So we know when he's in the race, to say if we get those long green flag runs, he's going to be one to watch. But we've just completed qualifying here. And so we're going to pull up our starting grid. And I say trying to kind of finish off with a bang. Larry Yingling gets the pole position for tonight's event. He's able to hold off that 83 of Jack Walls. Then you got Maxwell Caldwell, Brendan Pasolaco, Chad Wilkes. So we talked about that battle for that second position. There they are, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. In 6th, you've got Harrison Chandler. 7th is Kevin DeBrown. 8th, Charles Johnson. And then 9th through 16th, you got Andrew Pleshy, Ryan Kelly, David Payton, Robbie Richards, Bud Steele, Nicholas Winook, Todd Merkel, and Len McNeese. And then rounding things off, these drivers opting not to take a qualifying lap tonight. You've got James Ledford, Dwight Plush, Jim Brooks, Michael Spell, and Paul Patterson.
Not really surprised to see Larry Yingling on the pole, like you said, coming into this race, number 12 of 12. He's got 6 wins already, so he's had a dominant performance this season, but a great time for Jack Walls there, starting on the outside, qualified with the 29.902.
Yeah, I'd say not even quite, or just about half a tenth off of that 67. I say that's the thing is these cars, and there's always these little tricks, little things you can do to just get that little extra, maybe half a tenth, or whatever it may be. And so some of these guys, they know each little trick that you can do to get that little bit of extra time out of these cars. So I'd say Larry definitely, not saying that's what Larry's got going on, but definitely putting that speed to good use in that 67. But the 2 I'm going to be watching for, I think if we do get that long run, first is going to be that 17 of Chad Wilkes. Again, we've talked about how he's always got pretty good long run pace in that 17 car. He's really learned, I think, well from that from the 13 of Ryan Kelly. So, but I think what these drivers are going to have to do tonight, though, is they're going to have to basically kind of keep Larry from doing what he does best and kind of set pace and control from the front of the field. I think they need to get him a little bit in traffic, make his life a little more challenging here.
Yeah, that's the truth. If Larry's able to set the pace of this race, which he's in a great starting position, obviously, to do that, everyone else could be in trouble. He's very conscious of what's going on behind him on the racetrack and his intervals and all that, and was able to get a healthy lead and then save tires from then on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of both of the early aggression and also some drivers that'll probably be taking it easy to kick off and then start really picking up that pace as the run goes on. So That's gonna be it. Is really figuring out what that kind of the happy medium is at a track like this. So fuel window, I think usually it's around 40 laps or so is that window. So I think it'll be just inside a 2-stop strategy for tonight. And say we've seen definitely some mixed strategies for these leaders. Some kind of splitting it right in the third mark. Some are going to actually probably run it as far as they can, because we have seen that those running that long does seem to benefit some of these drivers before. So it'll be interesting to see. Also knows Brandon Pasolaco. He's sporting the light, or I don't know if you want to call it the day version of his Miller Lite paint scheme before. He's been running that black paint scheme. He's got the white one here tonight. Maybe that paint scheme change will give him a little bit more luck this evening, as pace car is in. We're about to get underway as the green flag is out in the air. Larry Yingling going to lead the field through the tribal. Is underway again. 100 laps is the scheduled distance.
Larry Yingling gets the early lead there, as well as the 94 clearing the top line. Going to be able to get out here and set the pace for everybody else. Looks like the 4 cars on the bottom line are going to be able to go.
Yeah, Jack Walls did not have the start he was looking for. He's kind of got pinned up to the top side here. So they lost the 3 spots. You see Kevin trying to see if he can sneak through there and grab that 4th spot. He looks like he will. As you saw, Brandon Pasolaco got loose there in 3 and 4. Had to roll out of it a little bit, and that's going to give Jack Walls that little bit of breathing room here. So you can see top 4 starting, just kind of broke away just that little bit now. Now that Jack Walls got that low line back working, and he can try to pull this gap back up here.
Kevin Brown in the 93 looking low on Chad Wilkes in the 17 car. One thing we know from knowing Kevin Brown personally is that he is a little on the aggressive side and is going to try to make moves early on.
As we saw that right off the bat there, he poked his nose underneath that 17. And he's going to try to get that move done here. So again, you can see Chad got a good exit off of turn number 4 there. However, say Kevin's got that low line 3-1-2, so now Kevin's going to have to go through that bumpy section that we talked about. You can see the car kind of bouncing through a little bit. But as Jack Walls behind, he gets big loose off of 2. He's going to hang on to it, though.
Yeah, take her down to the apron and get the straight. That's not an easy task, what he just did.
No, it really isn't. So these things are definitely a handful here. I say we'll do is if Kevin stays inside, he will hop on board so we can just see the bumps that this car has to go through here. So let's hop on board with that 93 of Kevin Brown and say watch here in turn 1, you see those bumps. It doesn't. I don't think it is as well represented as you might want it to be there, but so you can see his hands kind of moving a bit as he was having to go through that. But say right now these 2 are holding pretty steady side by side. Haven't lost a ton of ground to those top 2, even with them running side by side with that 3rd spot.
Yeah, what you're seeing is 2 real fast and very aggressive drivers, but also at the same time they're both being very respectful and leaving plenty of room in the corners. Yeah,
as you can see, almost like 2-3 car widths there through 1 and 2. But see in the picture though, that 82 Andrew Pleshy. Andrew started in the 9th spot. He's already up into the top 5 here, so great start for Andrew here. So he's really picked it up as of late in this season. So I think he's going to try to finish this season strong. There, it looked like he got a little loose there off in 3 and 4 there. But yes, I think Andrew here wants to finish this season off strong and be ready to regroup for season 7 here.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he's getting loose. The tires should be up to pressure and up to temperature, and the track temp's pretty cool. I'm kind of surprised to see him getting loose so early.
Yeah, you're right too, actually, because this is also, again, this is the lower horsepower, higher downforce package, so they don't have all the unrestricted ponies, if you will, behind the hoods of these cars, or underneath the hoods, I should say. But yeah, so I would say I know iRacing has definitely loosened up these setups a lot after the new build. So I say it might just be one of those things where the setup may have just got a little bit more on the free side from what they had before, and so these drivers are gonna have to adjust their driving styles to kind of adjust for that.
Yeah, up in the front here, Max Caldwell and Larry Yingling's really battling it out. Max does not let him get away at all.
Yeah, Maxwell's putting a ton of pressure on Larry here. I think that's what you really need to do. I feel like is just kind of keep that pressure on Larry. I feel like he's going to be a tough one to shake, but at the same time, I mean, you don't want to let him get in that comfort zone and just kind of set his own pace here. So I think Maxwell might be trying to force his hand a little bit, maybe run a little harder. As I said, he's going to peek to the inside in turn number 3 here. See if Maxwell's going to be able to get this top spot. Pushes off of 4, has to roll out of it a little bit. You can see that push loose he had there coming out of the turn. that's going to give that top spot right back to that 67.
That's a tough position to be in. You know, two guys running for the lead, and to have the car start to handle a little on the bad side. Real tough position because you don't want to wreck either one of the vehicles.
Yeah, so those two are teammates. They race hard with each other week in and week out, and they know they can do that. They can be right after each other and see if they can make it happen. But so there's a lot of respect. So they've had their comings together, but they usually get it squared away pretty quickly. As you see, Kevin and Chad, they just cannot get away from each other. Chad just holds off Kevin this time around the line. But these two, I think now that battling has started to slow down their pace a little bit. As you can see, they're about a second behind Maxwell now.
Yeah, I think, what I'm watching how Chad Wilkes is getting around on the high side every time Kevin gets underneath of him is that high side may be the way to pass somebody here. If you can get a little run going into the corner and just kind of pinching the bottom, that may be the way to go.
Yeah, it seems like momentum really works well on that top side here. So you can see those top two have snuck away just a little bit here. So you can see Larry, after able to hold off that initial surge from the 94 car, he's got a couple tenths of a second lead over Maxwell. Like I mentioned, though, also joining that mix in that second lead, Andrew Pleshy in the 82. As I say, now actually, just like you talked about, actually, look at Kevin. He's up on the top side now of that 17 car. So let's see if advantage kind of turns to the 93 here, running that top side.
Yeah, it gets a huge run coming off. Also allows the 82 to get right on Chad Wilkes' bumper, and he's going to take the outside, taking lessons he just learned from Kevin Brown.
Yeah, so there you go. So you just talked about a lap later. It's exactly what happens. Kevin found a way to get to the outside of Chad Wilkes, and that's going to get him that third position. Like you said, also going to have Andrew Pleshy. He's going to follow through here. So that's going to be a lesson learned for some of these drivers. Realize that, okay, maybe you can't protect that bottom the whole time. You actually want to need maybe that middle groove or so. Really gets the momentum built up, and that's really brought in a couple of these cars right behind him. That group has really gotten tighter. Now you see the Harrison Chandler right there. Also got the 21 Brandon Pasalacqua, 83 of Jack Walls, and then David Payton right here in the mix as well. So right now I got pretty much 3rd through 8th right now in this mix.
Yeah, Kevin Brown was about 2/10 faster, a little more than 2/10 it looks like on that last lap. And once he's got free of the 17, he's making a run for the front.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was a 30.9 for the leaders to 30.7 for Kevin there. So might be pushing a little bit here just to try to close that gap back up, and then maybe have to bring the tires back in or not. But again, this last time around, again 2/10 quicker. So you can see he's also running about a groove up higher than Larry and Maxwell were there, pretty much right above that seam. So that 93 car definitely seems to have found some pace here.
Yeah, my curiosity comes in, and how is this higher line going to work 40 laps in on these old tires? Because it's definitely going to wear the tires a little more.
Yeah, that it will. And still keeping on this battle here behind, because it's still a really good battle right now. You see Brennan trying to work over Harrison Chandler, but at the same time Harrison's trying to work over Chad Wilkes here. So kind of, again, one of those try to make a move, and try to also at the same time make sure you don't get yourself put yourself in a bad position. So you can see here Harrison's going to jump to the inside, but here comes Brennan. Brennan's going to try to get to the outside quarter, kind of like we talked about, and that seems to be the way to make these passes happen. So I think advantage now is going to go to that 21 machine.
Yeah, I'm curious if Jack Walls is going to follow Brandon, seeing what he's been seeing in front of him. He doesn't. He dives it to the bottom. As the 21 should get a decent run off here.
Yeah, so he's got the momentum on the top side. He's going to have the 17's draft as well to help propel him down the backstretch as well. So still doesn't quite clear Harrison Chandler, but again, I think he's going to have the momentum here out of terminal 4. And yeah, there he goes. He's going to complete that pass. And we got to jump back up front though, Dale, because we got some company up front.
Yeah, just a couple laps. Kevin Brown's cut that interval down. But what I'm noticing now is Larry Yingling's running a little higher on the racetrack than he had been.
Yeah, Larry's, again, he's a smart one. He knows what to keep an eye out for, and he'll see what some of these guys are doing. And he'll adjust his driving style to make that happen. So right now, Kevin's pretty much right on the back bumper. Maxwell hasn't been able to make a move yet. But I'm having a hard time jumping away from this battle right behind them, though, because now you got Brandon Pasalacqua all over the back of the 17 of Chad Wilkes. And I think you could see Brandon trying to kind of goad Chad into going to the bottom side. Chad knew better to do that. And also, like you mentioned, for the 83 of Jack Walls, Jack's got to the top side. He got around that 16 of Harrison Chandler as well. So I'd say that definitely that outside groove seems to be the way to make these passes happen.
Yeah, and guys, spotters, and teammates are going to start conveying that message, and everybody's going to figure it out. And you'll start seeing people protect that middle line a little bit more, as everybody in that group takes the middle on that corner pretty much.
Yeah, so everybody's pretty much they know now. As you see, Brandon got kind of that push loose. You can see him wash up and kind of cut under him. Let's say so. I think these tires. Let's say they're about 20 laps into this run, so the tires are definitely are going to start showing their age a little bit. Probably about halfway through the fuel run. Also, do need to mention though that 93 of Kevin Brown, he has gotten around Maxwell Caldwell, so move him up into that second position. Say lap times between himself and Larry Yingling pretty much right on top of each other. They're running 31.2s right with each other, so say these top two right now setting a very good pace. So it looks like the rest of the field is more in the 5s and 6s from Maxwell on back. So right now the next quickest car on track, which is no surprise, about go time for him. I'll say the problem is he's lost a lot of track position by saving his tires. Ryan Kelly, he was in a 31.3 that last time around, so I think Ryan's tires are starting to kind of get into his groove here.
Yeah, and I don't think the 93 you've seen the last of Mac Caldwell, is his times are creeping up toward where Kevin's are.
Yeah, I was saying right now it is a battle right now. I'll say between Jack Walls, Brandon Pasalacqua, Harrison Chandler, these guys just back and forth with each other. We saw Brandon get around Jack, but now Jack's gotten back by Harrison Chandler's trying to get that spot back as well, and bringing David Payton right into this party as well. So these guys, they kind of ebb and flow a little bit, but I say right now these guys just fighting pretty much tooth and nail, it feels like, for this for this spot right now just inside the top 10 here.
Yeah, and you could see when Brandon Pasalacqua on that 21 came off the corner, he did such a huge run down the backstretch.
Yeah, so when you're on that inside line, especially if it's someone next to you, you can't open up the wheel like you want to, and that's where you're losing all that momentum. And that's what Harrison Chandler's fighting right now, trying to make that pass happen. Again, you can see he gets right to him, just can't quite get enough to say. If he could get clear to the top side, which he might be able to do here, you can see it's almost a bit of a slide job, if you will, there. So you can see sent it in there, able to get it to slide up. Brennan again, big loose there off of turn number 2. So that's going to move Harrison Chandler now back up into that 7th spot.
Yeah, I've seen Brandon get loose a couple times. I don't know if he's loose again. I don't know if he's just kind of getting up there outside of his comfort zone or what's going on in it. I mean, he's up there to try to make speed, obviously, but he seems to be the only one really struggling like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he may have cooked his tires a little bit too early, maybe riding on that right rear too much, and that might have been what's kind of coming together, because once you get that right rear tire angry, it is hard to get it to recover. So I'd say he may have just been a little bit too aggressive on the throttle early on in this run. That may have got that right rear tire just a little bit too hot. But so we were talking about Ryan Kelly. He's worked his way. He's got 2 spots down in these last 2 laps. He was 10th. Now he's up into that 8th position in that 13 car. So, and again, lap times are looking pretty good for him. He's a couple tenths or so usually up on these guys around him. So he's definitely got some good pace in that number 13. Let's say right now some of our biggest movers are Kevin from 7th to 2nd. Andrew Plush, we mentioned, from 9th to 5th, as actually Chad Wilson just got around him for that 4th position. And also a little further back, the 76 Jim Brooks, he's gone from 19th to 14th. I'm saying he's right in the back of this train here, so you can see him right behind that 12 of Robbie Richards.
Yeah, and Jim's probably one of the more patient drivers that you ever race with. He's going to, set back here, save his stuff, and pick guys off one by one. Not going to really get in any intense heated battles with anybody. Just kind of bide his time a little bit and then make the passes as they come to him.
Yeah, so it's kind of what you have to do really sometimes, especially with him starting. He started in the 19th position, so he was pretty much at the tail end of the field here on the initial start. So probably trying to let those tires wear in a little easy. We've always mentioned how those first couple of laps are critical for tires to not burn them off right off the bat. So I think that might be what we're seeing here, but I say he's not going to have an easy time though with these guys, because again, I say the lap time wise, they're all running very, very competitive times with each other. I say also right there now, you got Charles Johnson, David Payton here. They're about on the top 10 position right now. David on the inside, Charles here on the outside.
Speaking of saving tires and lap time, Chad Wilkes just turned a 31.3. That lap at 31.4, but on pace, a little bit faster actually than Larry Yingling.
Yeah, let's jump over to that 17 car. As we mentioned, he was able to get around the 82. Oh, well, actually, as I said, I just saw Andrew Pleshy get all sorts of loose off of 2. Looks like he hung on to it, but so as soon as I switched over to him, I could see that 82 from the distance start to really step out, but able to hang on to it here. And yeah, again, steps out off of 4. So I think these tires are really starting to kind of show their age here. And again, may have just been a little bit, again, some drivers might be too aggressive on that right rear, but look where Chad Wilkes is running, though. He's all the way back down to the white line there through turns 1 and 2. We saw the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. He was pretty much running the wall almost in 1 and 2. So I think Chad may, like you said, may have just found something that's working for him. Maybe, like you talked about, he's also gotten really good about saving tires. And so I think that might be what we're seeing out of that 17 car here.
Yeah, and that tire saving matters so much because there's going to come a point, and they're probably about that point now, where it's going to balance out, and you're not really going to lose a whole bunch of speed for the tire wear.
Yeah, again, you can see how high Maxwell's running compared to Chad here. And I'm saying if you can get that exit cleanly, you're going the shorter distance around. So I mean, it's what you want to do. Say 3 and 4 again. It's for the most part, it's pretty much you want to run towards the bottom if you can. But we have seen obviously that middle group definitely keeps the momentum on the exit as well. But right now though, Chad is starting to slowly but surely creep into that picture. Again, right now all the leaders running in the 31.4 bracket. I'd say Chad just a couple hundredths quicker than those guys in front of him.
Yeah, and been that way for about 5 or 6 laps now. So has been consistently the fastest car on a racetrack.
Yeah, so I'm sure he was thinking back to when he was fighting the 93 as hard as he was early on, which actually we're going to go back up to that lead battle because it's down to about 0.2 of a second between Larry and Kevin here. But I say you wonder maybe Chad was pushing a little harder than he wanted to on those first couple laps, trying to hold off that 93 of Kevin or Brown. But right now, though, you see again Larry running that inside line. Kevin's kind of drifted up to the middle there, maybe about the first seam, if you will. But right now they are having a good fight here. Oh, as I said, a caution is out. Trying to see where it might be. I think it may be the 82 Andrew Pleshy. Yeah, I see some pretty heavy damage to the right side of that car. Unfortunately, I think Andrew got a little bit loose and just at this point was not quite able to hang on to it, unfortunately. So also noticed the 6 of Bud Steele in the pits as the caution came out. So we'll take a look at that as well. And actually, he's side by side here in 1 and 2 with the 13 of Ryan Kelly. So we'll see if it was. Oh yeah, you can see him stepping out here right out of 2. Trying to hang on to it, then what's going to happen is eventually as he saves it, unfortunately, he's going to make contact with the side of that 13 of Ryan Kelly. And then a big hit to that outside wall. And unfortunately, Brandon Pasalacqua as well. Nowhere for Brandon to go. He gets right into the door of that 82 car. So actually, both of those two, the 82 and the 21, heavy damage to both of their machines here. As it looks like everybody's just able to sneak on by there. So that's going to bring out our first caution here. And that's actually pretty much right exactly at the 3rd point of the race here, Dale. Which will say that was going to probably be about the time where some of these leaders are going to make their pit stops anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see, cars get junked up like that, but not a bad time for a caution to come out. Everybody's going to come in and get tires and fuel, and then we'll re-rack them.
Yeah, exactly right. I say it's going to be no strategy here. It's going to be 4 tires. It's going to be fuel for all of these drivers here. It looks like Bud Steele's going to kind of catch a little bit of a break here. I'm sure he would have rather not get trapped that lap down there. But what's going to happen for the 6 is I believe if he doesn't get the wave around, he should be able to at least stay out and get the wave around on the 1 to go. So pit stops are just being completed here. Looks like Larry is going to hang on to that lead. And we're going to have a big shift in positions after that, though, because some of these drivers did not quite have the pit stops they're looking for. It looks like Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to come out in 2nd. And check out 3rd position here. It's going to be a fight between the 83 and the 13. It looks like the 83, Jack Walls, is going to get that spot. But then 4th position, Ryan Kelly. He's worked his way up here after this first fuel run and pit stop. He's going to be in the top 5 now.
Yeah, going to be a big shakeup. Interested to see now the track's, got a little more rubber down. A little hotter than it was earlier, I believe. Actually, it shows a little bit cooler than it was earlier. I'm kind of surprised by that. But, yeah, a little more rubber down on it, obviously. So I'm interested to see how this restart goes.
Yeah, so I was saying the biggest difference we're going to see on this restart, of course, is that Larry is going to have control over it. So basically, he's going to be able to drop the hammer once that pace car is off the racing surface and doesn't have to wait for that green flag to fly. And we see that always gives these leaders a pretty big advantage because everybody else just has to try to react to them. So right now, let's say Andrew Pleshy, he's hitting the pits again in the 82 car. Double check. Yeah, it looks like he did have to take. Double check. Let's say I think he used a faster pair on that car. So the car looks pretty clean now. I do know Brandon Passalacqua, he did use a fast repair on his car. I was trying to look at the pit stop time for the 882 car, and just based on what I'm seeing, I'm pretty sure he went ahead and did a fast repair on that car.
Yeah, you know, when Andrew was wrecking, he almost came down into the side of the 13 and kind of willfully pulled it back up into the wall, you know, trying not to make contact. And sadly, he ended up sliding back down and Brandon Passalacqua made contact, but he did everything he could to not cause a big wreck.
Yeah, so you just get loose off too, and you could see him trying to hang on to that car, but when you get loose like that, it's going to track that car down to the bottom of the track, and I say luckily, yeah, just barely. I think if any damage to that 13, it's going to be minimal. I said actually that's probably something we should check for too to see if that 13 has anything on his car. Looks clean from what I can tell here. We'll take a look as he comes through 3 and 4. I thought I might saw right front crinkle a little bit, but no, I think that car is clean. So it's obviously that's going to be a break for Ryan as well, because it's never a situation you want to be in, as well as you see a couple cars. Actually, just one car looks like Jim Brooks. He's going to top off. Nope, he's going to bring a few more, and he's going to bring Dwight Plush, Paul Patterson, and Andrew Pleshy. They're going to jump in here as well at the 1 to go. I mentioned 60 Bud Steele. There he goes. He's going to get back onto the lead lap. So it's, again, that caution. A break for Bud. He did just take tires and fuel right before that caution came out. So I'd say not a huge loss for him. Just unfortunately, though, a pretty good loss of track position with his pit strategy there.
Now, you talk about Jim Brooks and company coming down for that little bit of extra fuel. That's a move both you and I do, you know, when you're running a little bit further back. It doesn't hurt to get a couple extra drops in because you don't know how this thing's going to turn out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm going to take a peek here, just make sure that the broadcast is still going, so that's good. So it's showing like it's refreshing on my screen, so I want to make sure everything was still working. So I know there are a few people viewing, so if you are having any issues with it, please definitely don't hesitate, let us know. But yeah, so we're going to get this one to go here down the backstretch. Again, Larry Yingling inside line, outside line going to be Maxwell Caldwell. We'll see what these guys are able to do here on this restart. Showing like it's refreshing on my screen, so a little bit
worried about the bottom line because of the green flag. Jack Walls did not have the greatest start there on the outside line.
Yeah, see, the other thing that Jack's going to be fighting with is you got those 3 teammates surrounding him, the 67, the 94, and the 13. So we've always talked about that team communication. There might be a little bit of chatter of like 3, 2, 1, go. That being said, though, I don't know. Larry got a pretty good jump out there. And you see Maxwell Caldwell. There's no time he's going to jump. As soon as he was clear over that 83 car, he jumps to the inside line. You see Jack try to peek underneath there. Max is going to hold on to that inside line for that second spot. And same thing with Ryan Kelly. As soon as that door opened, he's going to jump to the inside, but then Jack Walls washes up a little bit there. And we got a tight fight here now for that spot.
Yeah, everybody looks to be going to the outside as they're working. 13's working around Jack Walls and that 83, and then Brandon Passalacqua was looking high as well, but decided to drop down on the white line.
Yeah, so you see Chad Welk trying to peek underneath that 21 as well. So I do wonder on fresh tires, I feel like the inside line could actually be a little bit of a better spot here when the tires are new. So you got the grip you're looking for. As I'm watching that 93, Kevin DeBrown, he is putting all sorts of pressure on Jack Walls, almost basically pushing him through the backstretch the last time around. Looks like he got him through the 13 car, but now he's got his sights set on moving back forward in the after that pit stop, losing him a couple of spots. And so coming here out of 4, he's going to grab that 3rd position back as Larry Yingling. He's been able to stretch it out by just about a half a second over Maxwell Caldwell.
Yeah, Larry's been able to yard the field so far on this restart. Everybody's back behind him battling as the 17's looking under the 93 coming off the 2.
Yeah, so it is a battle right now. So we'll jump from the back of Maxwell Caldwell. He's kind of got a good view of all this going on. We saw Kevin trying to put some pressure on Maxwell, but then Chad Wilkes returning the favor and trying to put the pressure on the 93 car. And so we saw that 93 and the 17 fighting earlier on in the first run of the race here. So yeah, so I think these guys just going for everything they can here early on.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that Kevin Brown does not race here every week like most of these drivers do. So, everybody's still trying to feel him out, see what he's going to do, how he runs. So they're obviously going to race him a little more cautious than they would everybody else, just because they don't know.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to race him too cautiously, though, because he is aggressive and he is quick right now. He was able to, you saw him kind of do that over-under move, kind of try to run the middle there off of 2. Then was able to cut underneath that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. So he's going to grab that second spot back. It looks like Chad Wilkes going to follow through as well in that 3rd position. So I think Chad here trying to be a little more aggressive here on this initial few laps here. Doesn't want to lose the track position like he did earlier in that first run. I think, like you said, Dale, I think he noticed that those tires were kind of equalized even after his tire saving that first time around.
Yeah, it's kind of turning out the same way this time too. Everybody's running lap times where I would suspect they would. Larry Yingling's right there in the very, very low 30s, as well as Kevin Brown and Chad Wilkes. So everything's kind of where I feel it should be.
Yeah, so we got a little cluster back here as well. So they're trying to catch where it's all starting off at. I think it's right behind, yeah, it's right behind the 13 of Ryan Kelly. When we talk about Ryan, he's kind of one of those tire savers. I said, I promise he's got to be careful not to save too much tire because he's got 5 cars all over him right now. Started off with Harrison Chandler, and you got David Payton right there, Charles Johnson with them, Robbie Richards, Todd Merkel. So you pretty much throw a blanket on all these cars here right now with where they're running on track.
Yeah, everybody in that group again kind of running that middle line. Just still feeling it out, I guess, early on this run. I thought Dave Payton was going to get the wall there.
Yeah, let's say he went for a big arc there in 3, and don't know if it's going to quite work out for him. I think he got a little higher than he probably anticipated. You see he's trying to work over. Actually, I think it's Charles Johnson that's trying to work him over. I'm not sure who's passing who at this point, honestly. We also saw that 81 of Todd Merkel trying to work over the 12 of Robbie Richards, but like you said, that top line, that middle group, still working well for that group. And here comes Harrison Chandler. He's going to take a peek under the 13 of Ryan Kelly. Can't quite make it stick there. As you can see, a 38 really sending on that top side, trying to clear that number 9 of Charles Johnson. Looks like he will get it this time. And wasting no time, Robbie Richards is going to try to follow through with that as well.
Yeah, and you use the term sin. That really is a sin move, because if the car gets upset, you're into the outside wall before you know it.
Yeah, I missed something, unfortunately. I just noticed now that the 76 Jim Brooks, he pitted a few laps ago, and he is now 2 laps down. So something we didn't talk about when we wanted to go, but maybe there's a bit of a stack up on the restart possibilities. I do see a few cars a little further back than usual already on this run, including Bryce Clark, Paul Patterson, Bud Steele. They've kind of fallen off this main pack up front. So we missed something early on. It's actually, as I said, Paul Patterson, he's hitting the pits as well. So yeah, apologize for not catching that, but yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a little bit of trouble for that 76 and the 14 cars. However, I'm still watching this fight though with Harrison Chandler and Ryan Kelly. They are still going after it right now. These drivers are in the 7th and 8th positions. Harrison Chandler had just gotten the spot, but Ryan Kelly's going to try to take it back here. So he's high on the top 3 as well. They're all about a half a second apart from each other. So if that starts tightening up, we'll definitely jump over to that. However, I'm going to Jack Walls here because he's trying to get that pass done on that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. They go through 3 and 4 on the door of each other there coming out of that turn. Say this is for the 4th position here.
Yeah, I think Jack should get the advantage here going into 1. Maybe not. They're still door to door. Maxwell Caldwell is really, really hanging on to it up there, and he's going to have the momentum to make the pass.
Yeah, Jack's not going to give up, though. You can see he's still trying to keep his legs underneath. They didn't quite have enough there to hold on to the spot. I think what we've seen before is if you want to make this pass happen, you almost do have to kind of take that slide job, if you will, where you really send it in there and let it wash up and then get up to the top. So I think that's going to be something we might see later on in this run. So we're just about at the halfway point. Not next time by, but 2 more laps time, we will be halfway in this race. Todd Merkel here real quick as he is starting to try to work over that 9 of Charles Johnson. This is for the 11th position here. So again, though, we'll see as say Charles has that preferred outside line, and you can see the momentum again carries him across past that 81 machine, as just in front of them, the 12 and 38. They're having a battle here just inside the top 10 in that positions, respectively.
Yeah, David Payton all the way up on the wall at going through 1 and 2 there.
Yeah, it seems like 1 and 2 you can almost run the wall there. 3 and 4, I think the middle group is about where you want to be. I don't think you need to go any higher. But yeah, you're right there. 1 and 2, you can really run that car way further up the track than we've seen before. So you saw right there, Robbie had to slide up there, is able to clear David. David's going to try to cross him over here, though, down the backstretch. As you can see, gets a run down the back now, though he's going to be kind of at a disadvantage, though, entering turn number 3 here. You can see just slowly washing up, had to roll out of it, not to get into the back of that 12 car. That's going to cost him all sorts of momentum. That's going to open the door for that 81 and the 9 car.
Yeah, Todd Merkel and Charles Johnson both taking advantage of that move there.
You know, it's like Charles is going to be able to get him cleared here off the 2. Now for Todd, his goal is going to be to kind of stay on that right rear quarter panel if he can. As actually, we're going to jump up front. We got a good battle now again between Ryan Kelly, Harrison Chandler. And saying, as we were talking about a little earlier, here comes Brandon Passalacqua, though he's right up in this mix now as well. These drivers right now in the, where are they at here? 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. Close there off of 2 between the 13 and the 16 there. Looks like Harrison's going to prevail for now, though. Sorry, Dale, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, you're good. I was going for the same thing you were going to.
I'm trying to keep an eye on lap times today. Larry actually last time by was the quickest car on track by about just under a tenth over Kevin and Chad. I say lap times up front, those top 4 are all within hundredths of each other, though. There's a 25 for Kevin, a 24, and a 24 for Chad and Maxwell. So right now these top 4 are just, yeah, their lap times are just right all on top of each other here.
Yeah, Larry's just kind of inching himself away. The closest interval I saw was Kevin was about 2.5 tenths off of Larry Youngling's back bumper, but that's almost run to a half a second.
I'm saying we're getting to about that point as we had last time, where those tires really start to wear a little bit. Like you were talking about earlier, after the pit stop, let's say there is going to be a little more rubber on the track. That's going to help things out a little bit. And of course, these drivers are going to kind of know what to expect on that after that first run as well. So we'll probably see a little bit of driving adjustment from these drivers, knowing, okay, I needed this work, this didn't work, and kind of make those changes from there. So yeah, right now though, our leaders all just right on top of each other lap time wise again. 24 for Larry, a 27 for Kevin, a 23 for Chad, a 25 for Maxwell. So lap times are just right on top of each other here.
Yeah, you talk about the tire wear. I was just looking, and I guess they run the fixed setup on this, just the iRacing setup.
I think they are a little bit modified. I'm saying that's something I know we've been talking about that as the season's gone on for what the plan is long term for the league, how they want to make some adjustments, because that's one of the things that Area 51 does pride themselves on, is having good setups week in and week out. So I'm not sure on this one. I think they have had to make some tweaks after the updated build, because I know with the Indy Series they definitely do their own in-house setups. I want to say in the Cup Series and the Super Speedway Cup Series they also do have some modified setups. I'm not sure what they've adjusted on them, honestly, compared to the stock iRacing setup.
Yeah, one of the things I was just looking at the stock setup was this thing has a huge right rear spring, which I personally love, but it does, a big right rear spring makes the car looser on the back end, and it can definitely cause some premature tire wear.
Yeah, so. And that'd be something. That's something that will be good to get a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more in depth with the league as well, so we can have some more insight for what we can expect for the drivers, and That way we can let you all know what's happening as the race goes on, what we might suspect these drivers could have happen here. Because before with iRacing, it was always you pretty much wanted to just you take care of your right front tire. You just have to be really easy on the wheel and then save that right front tire, and that's going to be the way to make the speed here. But ever since those last couple of builds, they've really kind of gone more towards the loose side of things, and so that really has helped these drivers make some adjustments on how they have to drive to try to get the most out of these cars.
And not much is really changing on the track, as everybody's in line and kind of maintaining their lap times. The intervals they've had.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Things are holding pretty steady right now. Say Andrew Pleshy, checking back in on him. He's right now in the 13th position, and he had to take a fast repair, unfortunately, earlier on. He's holding pretty steady where he is right now. I think, again, just losing that track position like he had early on is definitely hampering him at the moment. I'll say, yeah, this actually would be a good time to run through the field here. Let's actually do that. So we'll start with our race leader, Larry Yingling. Is going to be our Season 6 champion, so again, congrats to him. He's run an awesome season all year long. Say 6 wins, 11 top 5s. This is race number 12, so his goal is going to be try to get a top 5 in every race, and he is well on his way to do it. Hopefully no commentator's curse, of course. Behind him, that number 93 of Kevin DeBrown from 7th to 2nd here. So again, one of those drivers that kind of just part-time duty here, and when he is here, though, he definitely is one to keep an eye on. Behind him, Chad Wilkes. Chad's in that tight battle for that 2nd position in the point standings. He's right now in that 3rd position right behind him. One of his competition, that 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Started 3rd, running in 4th. And right now running out the top 5 is that 83 of Jack Walls. So Jack's having a really solid run here as well.
Yeah, it looks like the leader's about 30 laps in on this run, so I suspect in the next game we're going to see some green flag stop.
Yeah, I think, as I don't think we might see some drivers split this run in half here. Maybe go to about 35 to go, and then pit. That way we can skip this last run in half. I think others, again, we talked about that tire where it seems like if you run longer on the tires, it helps you on that last run. Even that lap difference on tires seems to make a big difference. So we'll see if that's going to come into play or not as well. So we'll continue on here. We'll jump back to that 6th position. Harrison Chandler, again, one of those drivers that has been running with this league a little bit more recently. So I say Harrison having a really good run here as well in that 6th position. And then Ryan Kelly's had to step away from racing for a little bit. He's luckily back here. Good to see him again from 10th to 7th so far tonight. And one of those other drivers in that championship battle for that 2nd position, the 21 of Brandon Pastelacqua. He's fallen back a few spots here, back into that 8th position in that 21 machine. And then in 9th is the 81 of 81 of Todd Merkel from 15th to 9th. So a good game for him so far in this race here in that 81 machine. And then right now, I was going to say, is that 12 of Robbie Richards in the top 10, but it's actually just gone over to that 9 of Charles Johnson. So Charles moving into that top 10. And so we have had our first green flag stop taker in the 6 of Bud Steele. And actually, here comes the 93 of Kevin DeBrown. He's going to be first of our leaders here. He's going to go for that split strategy here, Dale, like we talked about, pitting about 35 laps into the run here with 35 to go.
Yeah, not surprised to see Kevin coming down. Him and I raced at Auto Club last night in another league and was in Discord together strategizing, and we both felt we pitted a little too late. So I'm not surprised to see him go the opposite way today.
So next question is, does he bring anybody else with him, or is he going to be kind of off on his own here? So far it looks like everybody's staying out, so I think he's going to be kind of on his own strategy here. Again, I think leaders can go about 5 or more laps before they have to make their final stop. And what Kevin's going to have to hope for, though, now is for this to go green through the stock cycle, because he is going to gain a lot of time with the fresh tires. But then, of course, he's got to make sure he doesn't burn those tires off by the time the leaders make their pit stops as well.
Yeah, and he seems to, coming out on fresh tires, he seems to be pretty aggressive. And those first 10 laps on fresh tires are the most crucial as far as that long-term saving, as you see him, just rocking away from the 88 car there.
Yeah, also the 38 David Payton, he's going to hit the road, hit pit road. He was right outside the top 10 there in the 38 machine, so David's going to make his potentially final stop of the race. So I do want to jump through some of the other cars we didn't have a chance to talk about. That 33 Nicholas Winook, haven't mentioned him too much yet today. He started 14th, currently in 11th during this pit stop cycle. Right behind him, we did mention Robbie Richards there in the 12. And then the 84 of Len McNeese. To say Len's having a pretty solid run right now. Started 16th, currently in the 13th spot. Do need to mention Harrison Chandler, Brandon Pastelacqua, Todd Merkel. They just hit the pits now, so they're going to start their scheduled final stops of the race, I should say. And then rounding up the rest of the field here, you got James Ledford in the 48. Then you got the 88 of Michael Spell. And of course, the 44 of Dwight Plesh. To say actually, Dwight's sporting a new paint scheme tonight with the. So he's got the Aaron's Toyota Camry here tonight. So say Dwight's always again. Dwight's one of those guys that just tries to kind of pace himself, keep things out of trouble, and then go from there.
Yeah, one thing about it is if you don't have the patience, and you junk a car up early, you're definitely not going to have a chance of winning. So he knows that. We see the same thing out of him every week.
I was saying it's worked to his advantage. There's been definitely some races. I mean, I think it was the Indy Series. He actually got a third place finish a few weeks back because I say he kept his car clean. He ran the right strategy, and it worked out really well for him. So, and he's one of those drivers that everybody's always happy to see have good runs. So I say it's one of those feel-good stories when you see him get those results. All right, so we got Ryan Kelly. He's hitting the pits here, Dale, with 30 to go. So I suspect we're going to see some pit stops here for the remaining leaders here shortly. But Larry Yingling, though, with this all cycling through, he's actually separated himself over Chad Wilkes by about 2 seconds here. So Larry definitely making some good time right now on that 67.
Yeah, again, just watching his times and in the last 10 laps, maybe he's fallen off 2/10. Very consistent, very smooth. I mean, for being this long, almost 40 laps into the run, it's a great performance out of Larry.
Yeah, so this is going to be, again, where we're going to be needing to keep an eye on the strategies here. So I'm watching lap times. Larry ran a 31.4 that last time by, 31.5 for Chad and Maxwell. Kevin on the fresh tires, he ran a 30.1, so over a second quicker. And that's going to be what we're going to have to keep an eye on is once that stop happens for Larry, he's going to be, if it stays green, of course, pending a green flag stop, he's going to be restarting behind, or he's going to be cycled behind that 93 of Kevin DeBrown. The question, of course, is going to be the tire fall off. How much is that going to come into play for some of these guys here?
Yeah, the other aspect of that is with 28 laps to go, you can pit too late and then not be able to recover the time lost.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So there's definitely that fine line of when to make these final pit stops. And right now, leaders are still sticking with their guns. They're going to run this one long. I think that's what we've seen. They've seen where they've burned themselves before by pitting too early. So that's where they kind of then switch gears and go back to that long pit strategy, which I've seen both ways. I say I am definitely have a tendency of going the long pit strategy. That's more of just because I kind of hope for a caution to pin everybody else a lap down, because I say I'd be one of these drivers that does not have that pace of Larry Yingling and Chad Wilkes, Maxwell Caldwell and company. But we got to mention those fresh tires of Kevin DeBrown. He's not that far from actually unlapping himself using this pit stop cycle that he's been working on.
Yeah, only about a half a corner away from Larry Yingling. It was like really closing that gap quick, because there's only 7 cars in the lead lap.
Oh, tight between the 93 and the 94 there, coming out of 2. Say Kevin went to the top of Maxwell, and I think Maxwell just did not have the grip that he was hoping he would, and those two just inches apart, probably a little bit of contact. I don't think anybody got damage out of that, but I'm sure that caught both of their attentions there and probably actually slowed that lap time of that 91 or 93 car just a little bit as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and probably slow him down for a couple laps here as he gets his composure back.
I actually got to mention, though, Larry England, he has hit the pits. So coming to 25 to go, that's when Larry decided to make his pit stop. Chad Wilkes, Maxwell Caldwell, they're going to stay out at least one more lap here. So right now we'll jump over and check it on the pit stop of that number 67 as he is in his pits. Now we'll jump back to that 17 cars that says, so here he comes. He's going to hit the pits, as is the 94. You can see him try to get aggressive on the brakes. Maxwell locks him down before the pit line. So now it's going to be all about where everybody's going to cycle through once this pit stop cycle is completed. And I think Michael Spell, he's going to be the last to make that last pit stop, so he's going to complete our pit stop cycle here. So now the question is, what is this lead battle going to look like here? Because I say we're going to keep an eye. We're going to watch that 93 of Kevin DeBrown here. As he comes out of turn number 4, he's going to pass the leaders that are finishing their pit stops now. And we're going to see where he relates to Larry Yingling and Maxwell Caldwell, Chad Wilkes and company here.
Yeah, one thing we know, Larry on fresh tires is going to come out here and run at 29.8, 29.9. Kevin Brown's falling off. He's running a 30.6 at the moment.
Yes, and that's going to be, I think, where Kevin's hope is going to be, that the tire kind of equalization comes into play at the right time. As I say, he's at the start-finish line now. Larry's in about the middle of 3 and 4 as that happens. So let's say if you see right now, Larry's showing just about 9.5 seconds off of that 93 car. So you can see on the pit stop cycle, though, so Kevin leading out Harrison Chandler up to second. Oh, you see 12 of Robbie Richards. Looks like he had a moment there off of 2. I'd say we have a couple cars off the pace here. Saw the 9 of Charles Johnson as well. Looks like they got pointed in the right direction quick enough, and we're going to stay under Greendale. That could have easily been a caution there for either of these 2 cars here. And I'd say that 9 car's got some heavy damage. You can see that car just not tracking straight. So I'll say I'm going to go back and try to take a look, see what happened between the 2 of these drivers here. See Charles Johnson actually just exiting the pits here. So I'm wondering if he was, actually it was the 82, got loose off of turn number 2, got into the 12 of Robbie Richards. I say those are the 3 cars that we saw get involved, but somehow they all were able to keep it pointed in the right direction. You can see they just wind up sliding across, and Charles Johnson just wrong place, wrong time, just nothing he could do there. So I say Andrew Pleshy, big hit for that the number 12 car as well. That I say Bud Steele is able to get that car pointed back in the right direction, but I'm a little surprised that didn't bring out a yellow there. But we are still under green here, so I say again, while we're watching that, Dale, that gap went from about 9.5 seconds to now 6.5 seconds in just the course of a couple replays.
Yeah, I kind of lied. I said Larry was going to turn a 29.8, and he must have heard me, because he came out and turned a 29.73, which was the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he just turned down another 29.7 as well, 74. So he's got fast laps, and they are consistently fast laps right now. So I think this was Kevin kind of rolling dice here. It's Las Vegas. This is the place to gamble. So I think Kevin went for that gamble. So again, now his goal, though, is going to be if he can get Larry's tires to kind of fall off to about his pace by the time Larry would get to him. I think that's going to be kind of the end goal for that number 93 car. But we still got 19 to go here. Larry's about, looks like, not quite a full straightaway behind Kevin there. Basically, as Larry gets out of turn number 2, Kevin's just about to enter turn number 3. Larry's still got a few more cars to work over, though. He's going to have the Harrison Chandler in the 16 car. He's going to be next on his list before he gets to a couple lap cars here as well. The 76 and then the 9 Charles Johnson, he's back out on track after that contact. He's got his car back and repaired. Unfortunately, Andrew Pleshy, Robbie Richards both sitting in the pit still with their damage.
Yeah, about a second difference between Larry Yingling currently running 3rd and Kevin Brown running 1st. Harrison Chandler, the 2nd place car, the 29 car, is running 31 flats on pace with the leader.
Yeah, so they only pitted about 3 laps between each other, the Harrison Chandler and Kevin Brown. So you're exactly right, though. Right now, Larry's running about a full second a lap quicker than Kevin. And so, I mean, you do the math there, and he's going to be there in about 3 laps, basically. So say Kevin's right now on lap 19 of his run. Larry's on lap 9, so Larry's got 10 lap fresher tires, and we know how important that is. As I say that, Charles Johnson gets loose there as he was trying to get around the 93 of Kevin Brown, and he's able to hang on to it again there, but definitely I'm sure caught that 93 by surprise there. And yeah, you can see the lap time as well, lost a couple of tenths that time by, so it's going to help Larry catch just that little bit sooner. So you can see even these cars right now, Jim Brooks trying to get one of his laps back after that, whatever happened to him earlier on after that initial restart. He's trying to get some time back, and here comes Charles Johnson kind of regrouping and going back after it as well.
Yeah, Charles Johnson able to put it right down there on the white line, and like you talked about, fresh tires is kind of the way to go. He's going to get up here, unlap himself, and get up here and start working on Jim Brooks.
Yeah, see Larry's just creeping slowly but surely into this picture here. So of those drivers that went long right now, obviously Larry's doing the best of them. He pitted that 1 lap before Maxwell Caldwell, Chad Wilkes. So that's going to be the next thing we got to keep an eye on, is those two are running pretty close together here. So you can see them actually running right in lockstep with each other. So that's going to be the next thing, is how their lap times are going to be comparing with Larry, which right now they're about two or so tenths of a second quicker than Larry. But the problem is they have about 3 to 4 seconds to get to him at this point.
Yeah, Larry really driving her down on that bottom line. Starting to fall off a little bit. He's falling off about a second in 12 laps, which isn't bad. But he does know he's got to get this thing done. He's got 13 laps to do it, and Kevin Brown's not going to lose the lead very easily.
Yeah, so I think this is where if you're Kevin, you can probably try to keep him pinned to the inside line, run that middle groove, make Larry pass you on the inside line, because I think exactly like you said, Dale, so you can see the speed difference has dropped to about a half a second a lap now instead of a full second a lap. And so I think that's what Kevin was hoping for, was that they would maybe equalize a little bit more before Larry got to him. So I think this is now, again, where Kevin's going to have to try to play protect. But as I say that, Kevin's going to cut to the inside. Larry's going to peek outside. But Kevin keeps the momentum here, so Larry's going to have to fight a little harder right now. And we'll see. We'll see what the strategy call is going to be for these two to try to hold on to this top spot.
Yeah, down under, about a tenth right now. Larry's going to drop down to the bottom and try to get a nose under there. But Kevin should have the momentum on the top side coming off.
Yeah, Larry gets a good run there off of 2. He's going to get his nose underneath here in 3. So this is where Kevin's going to have to try to fight him off on the outside. See if he can keep him pinned to that right rear quarter. And you can see it's exactly what he's trying to do. I just don't know if he's going to quite have the grip here at the line. You can see he stays just there. He's right at the edge of that quarter panel of that 67 car. So Kevin's going to have to fight for all he's worth as we have 11 to go here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Larry's able to kind of pin it to the bottom, drive it in a little deeper. Kevin Brown running that middle lane is going to get the run off, but I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, so now even if Kevin had a counterattack to get underneath that 67, now that 67's got that clean air, and he's got that, he would have had that preferred line up top. So say it's going to take a lot for Kevin to be able to chase him back down. The only hope he has is maybe Larry burned his stuff up trying to get that pass done. As we have 10 laps to go here at Las Vegas. I say right now top 2 are about 3 seconds ahead over Chad Wilkes and Maxwell Caldwell. And I say lap times are about 2/10 of a second quicker for that 94 and the 17 car. I say at this point in the race, so I don't think it's going to be enough for them to chase that 67 back down here.
Yeah, it's tough. Like we talked about how consistent Larry Yingling is, obviously, by his win record this season that's displayed, looking for number 7 out of 12 races. I don't see Kevin getting it done today.
Yeah, so as it stands, I say Larry's obviously looking really good, but we've seen crazier things happen at the end of these races, so you never can count them out right now. So we'll jump back to 3rd and 4th. There is that 94 of Maxwell Caldwell and the 17 of Chad Wilkes. Again, they're still running a couple tenths quicker than the leader, but you can see again they're about just over 3 seconds, or just under, I should say, 3 seconds behind. And then Harrison Chandler there, he's trying to hold off that 13 of Ryan Kelly. I say Ryan's on slightly fresher tires than that number 16 machine, and then right back into the mix. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I was a different car there. So I was trying to find where Brandon Passalak was. He's fallen back to about the 7th position, and I say he's under attack from Jack Wells there again with slightly fresher tires than him. And then rounding out our top 10 is the 81 of Todd Merkel there in 9th, and then David Payton, the 38 car, is our right now rounding out our top 10 here. So right now, still looking at the interval. You can see Maxwell and Chad, they've kind of creeped into the picture there. But again, they're just not quite where they need to be to try to put that pressure on Larry, as we're going to be coming around here. 6 to go this time around. So Larry Yingling just hoping for 5 more clean laps. That way you can get that white flag. I'll say from there, so you usually you can feel a little bit of stress come off your shoulders once you see that white flag come out.
Yeah, absolutely right. If it stays green, he's in good shape. Yarded Kevin Brown, almost put a second on him at this point, running about a tenth and a half quicker lap, almost 2/10.
Yeah, so I mean, Kevin went for the gamble. At this point, it doesn't look like it's going to quite pay off. I think Kevin felt like where he was on track, he was just kind of holding even with that 67 car. So doing whatever he could there, as we have 5 to go here at Las Vegas. But say now for Kevin, though, he's got to make sure he doesn't fall too far back, because I say that's going to then get him pretty quickly into the clutches of Maxwell Caldwell and Chad Wilkes. As it looks like actually Ryan Kelly's been able to just get around that 16 of Harrison Chandler. But as I say that, Harrison's going to actually fight back on the outside line. So This fight for the top 5 is not quite over yet.
And just working under him there, coming off a 4, still even down to the line.
Yeah, right, pretty much nose to nose there at the line. Couldn't really tell who had it. I say what Ryan's going to have to do here is he's going to have to try to be aggressive on the entry. You can see he clears in there. Now we'll see if he holds the bottom. He's going to try to wash it up a little bit. Looks like he's going to wash up off the exit. I think that's going to just be enough for the moment to keep him ahead of Harrison there for that 5th position here. As you can see, yeah, Harrison can't do enough there to make a counterattack. So Larry Yingling going to cross line here to have to go. And he is in some pretty good traffic right now. He's got the 6 of Bud Steele. Bud's going to give him that outside line, or inside line, I should say, as the Bud goes way up high there. Unfortunately, cutting the wall a little bit. Andrew Pleshy, he's going to do the same. Give Larry here the inside line off of turn number 2. It looks like he's just going to have the 48 of James Ledford possibly in front of him before he gets to that, before he gets to the finish here. But again, so you're going to come across here, 2 to go here at Las Vegas. Larry Yingling going to try to put the finishing touches on a extremely just dominant season for that 67 car.
Yeah, really kind of a historic season, in these league races. These are tough to win, and to win 6 or 7 out of 12 to win 50% or higher is just, it's unheard of.
Yeah, he's been there race in, race out. I say the other thing, almost if you're Larry, you might even also be a little bit more proud of the fact that you're gonna have a top 5 in every race this season. Say knock on wood, I say don't want to jinx the guy before he gets to the finish here. As we do get the white flag, so say again we talked about that relief off the shoulders. That's gonna be probably about 1 sandbag load off the shoulders of that 67 car. Now you just gotta get through turns 3 and 4 here, and he'll feel much better.
Yeah, still. Half a track to go. He's going to be laser focused in these last 2 corners coming around the line. Hasn't junked a race car all year and doesn't want to now.
Yeah, as I didn't suspect you would see anything like that, and we are not going to see it. So out of turn number 4, Larry Yingling going to win the championship in style here at Las Vegas. Gets the win number 7 of 12 races, top 10 or top 5, I should say, in every race this season. Larry Yingling is going to cap off his championship in style time, winning tonight at Las Vegas. Kevin DeBrown hangs on, grabs that 2nd position, tried the pit strategy, didn't quite pan out for him. And then in 3rd, Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to hold off that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And again, we talked about that points battle for that 3rd position or 2nd position, I should say, in the points. And I'll see if that was enough to hand that spot over to Maxwell here. So we'll jump over to our race winner they're watching celebrate on the front stretch. As you see, Chad Wilkes coming over to congratulate him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dale. Sorry.
So that's not only a win, for Larry, obviously a championship win and another race win, but that's a big team effort they have going on there. So everybody's happy for him.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's fast, but at the same time, he races everybody with respect and clean. And saying that's just kind of Larry's MO. As you can see him celebrating in turn 1. You see here come all of his teammates joining him. There's Maxwell there. You see Andrew Pleshy right there with him as well. So. So actually Maxwell is going to hang on to that 2nd spot in the point standings. So Maxwell wasn't quite able to defend his season 5 championship, but comes back with 2nd place tonight. A good season for him. And I think Chad Wilkes is going to hold on to that 3rd position in the points as well. So a really good team effort for all these guys. All right, so while we watch Larry celebrate, we're going to go ahead and try to find our top 3 and pull them in. So that's going to start with our 3rd place finisher, that 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Oops, gotta make sure I don't get myself muted there. So say kicking things off with our 3rd place finisher, Maxwell Caldwell. Started 3rd, finishes in 3rd. I say you're gonna lock up that 2nd place in the points. I say it's hard to feel bad about that. Say we're looking at the stats of what Larry was able to do, and say short of of pretty much finishing top 5 every race and trying to just offset maybe any of his, well, I can't say bad races because they're all top 5. So I feel like you probably felt like you did all you could do this season to try to do what you could with him, but unfortunately came a little short. But you had a really good season, a really good race as well. Early on, we saw you putting a lot of pressure on Larry there, trying to, I'm guessing, try to shake him out of his groove, but it seems like he doesn't rattle too easily, huh?
I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just trying to keep up. I mean, when you get beat by an entire 10th in qualifying and you're third and just kind of left scratching your head there. So I don't even know where he got that 10th in qualifying. But no, it was a good race. Since the new cars come out and the low horsepower and all that, this track is probably one of my worst mile and a halves. And I love this place, but it's just I can't find a way to save tire here to save my life. I've learned at a lot of other tracks this season, but this one, I tried the first run just to go hard because I thought we'd get a quick caution. Didn't happen. Then the second run, you saw me kind of back off, let Chad and Kevin some of them by. That didn't end up benefiting me at all. Ended up getting really, really tight in that run. So first run I was loose, second run I was tight. So luckily, toward the end of that second run, the car kind of came around and I was at least matching lap times. I felt like if we had more fuel and could have kept going, I probably would have been decent. Car just kept getting better as the run went on after the 25 or 30 lap mark, which is too late. But just got the pit stop there, made a lot of time up on Chad on the pit stop. That's the only way I even got close to getting by him. I just got in racing range with him and knew that we had the freshest tires in the field and that it was go time. I knew we couldn't catch Larry. Thought maybe we could catch Kevin, but tires ended up equaling out with about 6 to go. And I started matching the lap times of Kevin. So them two were faster than me anyway. Third place is about what I'd call my car a third to fourth place car. Me and Chad, I think, were pretty equal. It just depended on who was in front of who. So just a good battle right there at the end with him. That was kind of awesome. A nice, clean battle. And going through lap traffic, I think he got kind of screwed over and all that. But other than that, just decent race. I mean, I was expecting hopefully a top 5. That was my goal. I knew I couldn't win here. So to come home third, not going to complain here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good run for you. I said you were up front early, challenging. And then, like you said, it seemed like, yeah, like you said, just the beginning of the run, we definitely saw a lot of cars really get loose, especially off of turn number 2. Andrew Pleshy was one we saw start getting loose multiple times. Brandon Pasalacqua as well, just out of turn number 2. Was it something that you felt like you could adjust on just your driving style, maybe when you're getting the throttle down, or was it just more of maybe the wheel input to keep it from snapping around off of 2? And I guess the other part of that question was it just loose, or was it more of a push loose on exit?
It depended on how you started the run. So the first run, I went really, really hard, just trying to keep up with Larry, which the car was handling great. I don't mind driving the thing really hard on fresh tires. It handles fantastic, but the harder you push, it seems like at the start of the run, the worse at this particular track, the worse your long run is. It really reminded me of Dover last week where you almost had to strategize. Am I going to run hard at the start or am I going to give up 5 spots at the start? Because you're talking a 10 to 15% tire wear difference from what I saw in practice. So the first run, I really thought it was going to be short. So I just tried to go hard and at least keep up with Larry. Wasn't even trying to pass him, just trying to keep up with him. And got to that point where the car started plowing tight into the corner and started getting really, really loose later on. And I just couldn't keep up. So it just depended on how you drove it. But it is a interesting setup. I don't know. I feel like it just felt weird. I don't know how to explain it. I actually had to play with steering ratio for this race, and I normally always go with the default. I had to play with steering ratio just to try not to melt the right front off. So it was interesting. I mean, one run you could be loose, one run you could be tight. Right there at the end, the car felt pretty good, but I was going pretty hard, and I knew I had a short amount of time. So didn't probably have enough laps for Chad to probably start reeling me in, but you really couldn't take it easy either with all the cars that had pitted, 10 laps before you that you had to get by and trying to choose the lanes and all that. So I don't know how my tires looked at the end. Didn't even look at them. I just know brought it home third, and I'm not complaining here at Vegas because I think 2 seasons ago I barely scrounged up at the top 10 here. So.
No, I mean, like I said, it was obviously a really good run for you tonight. I was saying that's something we were talking about this on the setup side of things. I think that's something that's going to be looked at and probably made some adjustments for season 7. So I think that'll definitely help things out as well for you guys going down the road here as well. But The other thing I was saying, one thing you mentioned trying to work through traffic was, as a really good point, was the lines tonight. It wasn't kind of like a lot of these tracks, other than Kansas, of course. You pretty much just want to run that white line, but we noticed here tonight at Texas, it almost seemed like the middle groove was the place to be, especially if you want to try to make some passes. Because if you got pinned to that inside line, you couldn't get the momentum up to complete those passes. So how tricky was that for you to try to make those moves? With that inside line being almost like more difficult place to make the passes happen.
With the bumps into turn one, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult. But what I played around a little bit. Like I think that run with Larry, I tried to just not follow behind him that first run. So you saw me running more of the high side in 1 and 2 and trying to carry that momentum all the way through 3 and 4, which is probably what destroyed my right front. I don't know. But just tried that. And then like the second run, I thought maybe running the bottom would kind of keep the tires a little better, even though it was a little slower. I wouldn't even say it was slower. It was just harder to manage. It really wanted to break loose on the bottom, where the middle to top, you kind of felt good security in the rear. But once you got on the long run, I mean, about the middle of the run, lap 12 to 20, I'd say either the middle or the lane above it felt pretty good. A lot of times I started running the third groove, but I noticed right at the end I was watching Chad and he was kind of running that middle, and so I started trying it. And I'm not going to say I found speed, but it felt kind of as comfortable. I almost kind of like diamond it, kind of went in a little high, let it drift up, and then would bring it to the middle. Wouldn't bring it all the way down, but would bring it to the middle and kind of get that drive off. Um, and that maybe helped me on my tire wear. I don't know. With as long of a green flag run as we had there at the end, I was just trying to scrounge for whatever I could, but definitely had different lines tonight. I'm not going to say one was better than the other. That's what's kind of interesting about it. Because normally at Vegas, I remember, gosh, probably a couple of years ago, the outside groove actually had more speed, but you wore out more tire. So you had to strategize what you did. I think early in the run, if you wanted to run the outside, I think it did kill your tires more on lower air pressure. But I think if you waited 6, 7, 8 laps and then went up top, I think you were okay. It's just all about those first 5 or 6 laps. Whatever you did there determined your entire long run and how that car would handle. So very interesting ordeal. It was very interesting.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy how the beginning laps will really dictate how the race goes the rest of the way for it. And that's something we did comment on as well, where you have to kind of balance your aggression early because you don't want to burn those tires up right off the bat there. So, as like you said, though, Maxwell, I mean, a really good run for you, a great season as well. You're able to kind of win that battle for the second position. We saw it was a really tight one at the end between you and Chad and Brandon there at the end. So, again, I mean, a great season for you. So definitely nothing to hang your head on. So definitely want to say grabbing second after winning season 5 championship last year. So definitely want to give you the floor, though. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight and the season overall?
First thing I'm gonna say, if I got to lose to anybody, I guess losing to Larry ain't that bad. Because if he would have sat on the box like he did last season, I might have actually squeaked out a championship by luck here. But I don't even feel like I'll run a championship season here. So congrats to Larry. He absolutely just did what Larry does. He just kind of wiped the floor with everybody. And I mean, we learned a little bit from him, but I still say sometimes in practice he might have sandbagged on us a little bit. I'm kind of agreeing at Dover he sandbagged on us and then whooped us in the race. So no, I'm just kidding around. But no, great teammates to work with has made the season great. With Chad and Larry and Ryan coming back for the last couple of races, trying to get him back in the swing of things. And then Andrew getting to run his first full season with Area 51. Thought he did fantastic all in all. Didn't have the best nights tonight, but other than that, he's been pretty consistent most of the season. He's been my practice partner all year or all season. So great for him and just awesome teammates. Like to thank them. Like to thank the league for putting all this on. I think this was probably the cleanest and the how do I want to explain this? The most competitive season I think I've ever seen, just with more drivers up front. Like it's not just one person pulling off to an 8-second lead. Like everybody was really, really close and really, really tight. And just watching how these other drivers have really stepped up throughout the season. Some of them that wasn't running as good at the start, kind of stepping up. Neat to see. Makes me really interested how next season is going to go with the big schedule change. And so thankful for the league and all the members. Thankful for you guys for putting on the broadcast. And, of course, thankful for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ who allows me to be here and race every week. So it's fantastic. It's awesome. And looking forward to next season. Don't know what that has in store for me just yet. Don't know if I can run the forward or not. We're going to be determined there. But hopefully I can. They've added some tracks I really like. I'm excited they put New Hampshire on and some short tracks, and we actually got a plate race this time. So, and even some road courses. So I'm pretty pumped for next season, and I think it's going to be the best one yet.
So yeah, definitely look forward. Hope to have you full time next season as well. So yeah, definitely keep us in the loop on that one. But yeah, so definitely enjoy this one though. Say enjoy the probably a week or two off before we go full tilt on season 7 again. But yeah, great job again, Maxwell. So it's nice been nice being able to chat with you plenty of times this season with these awesome results you've been having as well.
Thankful for you guys as well. Thankful for the broadcast and just everything y'all do. It's been really awesome. Hopefully see y'all next season. We'll see.
All right, that is that 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Now we got to drop a number and go to the 93 of Kevin DeBrown. So we're going to bring that number 93 in here tonight. So he was one of the few that really had a chance at contending with Larry there, Dale. So he went with the maybe the more of a short pit strategy that didn't quite pan out for you tonight, Kevin. But overall, say obviously kind of a part-time season for you running a couple races. But so you definitely let him know you're here tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. Larry's just so fast. It's difficult to keep up with him sometimes, but I feel like we had something for him. I probably should have stayed out a little bit longer than pitting so early like I did, but we had just tagged the wall a little bit, and I thought I was losing time, and I burned off the right front, so I thought might as well go ahead and pit, see if I could maybe screech by and take one, but unlucky,
Kind of want to go back to lap number 11. You're battling Chad Wilkes there for the first couple laps, and then you just went to the outside and drove around him. What made you try the outside?
Well, every time we get side by side there, we were side by side for a couple laps there. I think I finally realized that he was getting the better power down off the corner, so I was like, let me try getting to his outside, and I did that, and luckily I scooted by him.
Yeah, it's kind of a trend-setting move because after you got around Chad on the outside, everybody behind you started working the outside lane as well to make their passes. It seemed like the place to be on older tires. We noticed on fresh tires that everybody was kind of getting down on that white line. Is that what were you feeling the same thing in the car?
Yeah, really. I don't know. Going throughout the run when you first started, yeah, you wanted to get to that white line, but then the tires started wearing a little bit. You kind of wanted to get on that seam a little bit, and usually when you get on that seam and you could fly, and I found out that I could catch Larry every once in a while when we were on that seam there, but it was crazy fighting with Larry, man. I thought I was going to have him in that first run before the first caution came out, but then, the caution came out, and it was just a nice cat and mouse game. He'd pull me one lap, and I pull him, and it was fun.
Yeah, so you pitted under caution, made your green flag pit stop there about lap 64, I believe. One of the first ones down pit lane, first of the leaders. Was that your decision, or did your crew chief Ronnie Reiser make that call?
Yeah, Ronnie was against it. Ronnie was yelling at me because I just had hit the wall because I was pushing so hard trying to catch Larry. So I was like, you know what, Ronnie, we got to pit. We're losing too much time right now. So hindsight, I probably should have stayed out probably 5-10 more laps. I might have been able to stay in the lead there, but I'm still happy we came back with a second place finish.
Yeah, but we was watching your fall off and all that. Real consistent race. I've definitely seen you drive harder earlier, so it looked like you might have saved a little bit there in the beginning each run to put you fighting with Larry there toward the end. All in all, a good run. Anybody you'd like to thank today?
Yeah, you guys, Green White Checkered, for y'all putting it on. Area 51 for letting me come in every once in a while and race with these guys. Great group of guys. I thank Chris Skaboo for painting the paint scheme. Always does a great job. Everybody at Brown Eye Racing. And yeah.
All right. Well, it's always great having you. Great to have you in the booth for another podium finish here, and look forward to having you back.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. That's going to leave this. I don't know. There's this other guy that we haven't had a chance to interview. I feel like we've interviewed him a lot, though. So I'm not sure if Larry's going to have much else to say after. So I'm going to read some stats to you, Dale, other than the ones we talked about initially. So we've got this. We've got the 7 wins. We talked about that. We got the 5 poles. We got the top 5 in every race of the season, so 12 top 5s. And so we've got an average start of 2.78 this season, average finish of 1.67 this season. I don't know what else you could do, Larry. That was, I mean, to say this has been a dominant season. Actually, I'm looking at the results here. Actually, you didn't finish worse than third this whole season. So I think we've had a lot of time to chat with you. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll start off with the race, of course. I mean, take us through the race. I mean, it was a good run. You got the pole position, able to kind of try to set the pace early. We saw Maxwell fighting with you early on. Then Kevin kind of joined the party there as well. And then we talked about the pit strategy there at the end. So you went with the later strategy, which worked out. You were able to chase Kevin back down there. But I mean, just take us through the race and how everything went for you there.
Well, first off, great job by everyone in this league for putting on another great season. But yeah, the race certainly wasn't easy. Kevin was definitely on me the whole race, and Maxwell for most of it. Yeah, that first run, maybe second run, I saw Kevin was slowly catching me a tenth a lap, it felt like, and I was just paying attention to my mirror what line he was running. It seemed like he was running the middle line in 1 and 2, so I started running that when he got close enough to put some air on his nose to block him and get him some dirty air. And that seemed to push him back, or I just did better in that line and started to pull away a little bit, and then he pitted fairly early. I was kind of surprised, but I was also worried about that too, because I noticed how much the tires even out on a longer run. And I was wondering, with the drop-off that we were having at that time, he was going to be so far ahead, and by the time I get to him, the tires are going to even out, and it's going to be difficult to get by him. But at that time, this wasn't really the case. I had too much grip for him to really defend, and just got by him at the end.
Yeah, so that's something we were talking about too. Was the tires equalizing out? We did notice that it seemed like once you got to about the 31.4s, 31.5s, somewhere in that range, that seemed to be about where those tires kind of held on pretty steadily. Did you have any thoughts of changing your pit strategy once you saw him pit, or were you pretty much committed to running the long like we've seen a lot of the drivers do this season?
I certainly thought about it, and I wanted to, but I was worried about with how long we had left on fuel. If I pitted and the caution came out, that would have been race over for me pretty much for the win.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense, and that's the thing. That's kind of the risk versus reward of those that pit strategy is sometimes. So you pit early to try to take advantage of those fresh tires. You get burned out by a caution, or we've seen it even on some other races where drivers will pit late. And they just don't have enough time to chase those drivers back down. So, like I said, it's kind of that fine balance you have to make here. But yeah, I mean, again, just an outstanding race for you tonight. It's again an outstanding season as well. So definitely want to congratulate you on that one. I saying that'll kind of lead into the next part. I mean, take us through your season. We know you're a fast driver week in and week out. We've had you here obviously before in the previous seasons as well. You kind of went up into the crew chief hat, if you will, for season 5 to help Maxwell out there. Then jump back in to join the party here on track this season again. But I don't think I remember having you dominate like you've done this season in the races past that you've been with this league.
Yeah, no. Somehow I got good stats this season. Beating people like Maxwell and having beat Maxwell and Chad Weekly is certainly no easy feat. And I knew at the moment starting the season off with max points races for the first 3 races would be huge. And it certainly was. I practically kept even on points after that. And it was great racing throughout. Definitely when Logan and Kevin raced, it was definitely a blast. And hopefully those two are able to race next season to up the competition even more.
Yeah, I'll say that's something we were talking about with Maxwell as well, is that it's going to change up a little bit here for season 7. Like the plan of the season is going to be a little different than the 12 race kind of regular season, if you will. And then also the tracks are going to be changing a little bit, adding a few short track or some maybe not short tracks but shorter tracks as well. But then also some road course as well in there. So I say, are you looking forward to kind of the change a little bit as well to mix things up a little bit with the variations on the track side of things as well?
Yeah, it should definitely be pretty interesting to watch and be a part of it. I'm sure Chad's definitely happy about the 2 road courses where I'll be chasing him. But yeah, it's definitely nice to get more of a variety on the schedule, and the points format should be pretty interesting and nerve-wracking and stressful and all the above.
Yeah, so that'll definitely, I'm sure will be. So I'm looking forward to, say, once we get everything completely dialed in, so we'll definitely be reporting in on that as well. So, but yeah, so again, Larry, definitely, again, just awesome season for you tonight. So glad to be able to chat with you again as well for after tonight's race. Hopefully the recovery's been going well for you as on that side of things as well. So definitely though, want to give you the floor though. As always, definitely give you some thanks, let you give some thanks shouts for the race and of course the season.
Definitely on my teammates this season. Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Pleshy, Levi Cox, Chad Wilkes, Ryan Kelly, Kevin Hash Brown, and Harrison Chandler, who came in this race. And just got to thank you, as always, for the broadcast. They're definitely a blast to watch back. And this team has won the last 4 championships among 3 different drivers. And hopefully we're able to up that number to 5 next season.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a tough group to work with, and say that's, again, when you surround yourself with good teammates, that's good things are usually going to happen. So, yeah, you guys have definitely been on a roll this season, and saying, so I'm sure you guys looking for that to carry on. I say some of the competitors maybe not so much, but so that's why we're here. That's why we race. So looking forward to next season though, Larry. But yeah, definitely enjoy this one. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the championship. Look forward to catching again here soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Dale. So that is our race winner and season 6 champion Larry Yingling getting it done tonight at Las Vegas. So we'll go ahead and pull up our final results here though before we finish things off. So here are our top 10. Larry Yingling getting the win over Kevin DeBrown, Maxwell Caldwell in 3rd. And 4th through 10th, we've got Chad Wilkes there. Ryan Kelly ran out our top 5. Harrison Chandler in the 6th position. A great start for him. I think we'll be seeing a lot of Harrison in Season 7 as well. I look forward to him being racing with these guys regularly. Hopefully he is. I'll maybe put a little bit of commentator pressure on him to make that happen. 7th, we got Jack Walls. 8th, Brandon Pasalacqua. 9th is Todd Merkel. And rounding out our top 10 is David Payton. And then 11th through 21st, you've got Nicholas Winook, Len McNeese, Michael Spell, James Ledford, Dwight Plesh. And some of the drivers didn't quite have the nights they were looking for. Bud Steele in 16th, Jim Brooks, 17th, Charles Johnson, Andrew Pleshy, Robbie Richards. We saw those guys, unfortunately, get together with each other on the backstretch there towards the end of the race. Somehow did not bring out a caution, which would have definitely changed the outcome of this race. But I'll say those drivers were able to get that car back, get those cars back in pointed forward and off track before any cautions were going to come out from that one. And then I always hate when there's one driver on the list by themselves, but I'll say in that 21st position is that 14 of Paul Patterson this evening. Oh, as I said, just in the time you see the 67 motor blows after his celebration, so say no engine tech for that car. Say pulling a Chad Canal special possibly in that number 67 machine. So yeah, Dale, say that's season 6 already in the books. I say it feels like it's pretty much you blink by, even though it went through 2020 and into 2021. I'll say this was Larry's season by no question of doubt as we went through those stats. I mean, he week in week out again. I mean, he worst finishing position was 3rd, worst qualifying position was 7th. There's not much more you can do than that to be able to grab a championship.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Average finish of 2.5 out of 20 to 30 drivers each and every week. Even though the season was locked up, we still had 22 drivers tonight. So decent sized fields. Always tough competition. So again, I want to congratulate Larry.
A few more drivers kind of try to add some of their competition to the mix. It sounds like maybe racing a little bit more. I think Ryan Kelly, if he's able to come back full time, he'll definitely be one to keep an eye on as well. And so you never know, there might be some drivers that haven't really run in season 6 that might kind of surprise us and sneak in for season 7. So it's going to be a lot of fun to look into. One thing to note is we will be switching over for season 7 to just being on YouTube. So look out for that. So that's just going to allow us to kind of be able to schedule the events a little easier. That way you can find them a little quicker and simpler. But really do appreciate everybody that has been watching through Twitch and on Facebook as well. Of course, links will be on Facebook for you to access the YouTube feed as well, so don't worry about that. But yes, I say that is it for our Season 7, so I hope you all enjoyed it tonight. And of course, as always, happy Friday Eve. We'll be back on Sunday for the Super Speedway Cup Series finale at Daytona, I believe, so say that'll finish things off over there. But say keep an eye out on the Area 51 Facebook page and on Discord. I'd say we'll probably have some special events, recruiting races, things of that nature. So definitely keep an eye out. We'll definitely be broadcasting those as available. So until Sunday, hope you all have a wonderful evening. And of course, as always, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And until Sunday, have a good night.